firings. Rooted in the Black tradition of testimony, this initiative ensures that those who served us are not erased from history. Through firsthand accounts, investigative storytelling, and community-driven dialogue, we intend to expose injustice, preserve truth, and demand accountability. If you or someone you know has been forced out of federal employment due to the mass firings, please contact us at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or via the open mic feature on the KBLA 1580 app. We want to hear from you and share your story. KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Let's do it. All week, 9 to 5 for my money. So when the weekend comes, I go get live with the honey. Rolling down the street, I saw this girl when she was pumping. I winked my eyes, got into the ride, went to a club, was jumping. Introduced myself as low, she said, you're a liar. I said, I got it going on, baby doll, and I'm on fire. Took her to the hotel. She said, you're the king, so be my queen if you know what I mean. And let's do the wild thing.
Happy Monday. Welcome in. You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, we are here to give you your entertainment news updates, keep you informed, ahead of the curve. Happy birthday to Tone Loc. Wild Thing dropped in 1988. Do you know, Andy, what the uncredited sample is in that song?
No, you stumped me.
It is Van Halen's Jamie's Crying.
I would have never known.
That guitar, that you can't tell that was a rock guitar. Of course
yeah, but I wouldn't have known
the sample.
Yeah,
it was Van Halen. So shout out to Tone Loc. As Andy mentioned, we don't talk about him that much, but he was one of the pioneering West Coast rappers. You know, he was with Delicious Vinyl, which was one of the early pioneering rap labels, West Coast rap label. And you know, shout out to him. He had some hits. I think that one was like the first or second rap single to go number one on one of those charts it wasn't supposed to be on or something like that. I'll fact check it. Morris Phillips in the chat is mentioning Funky Cole Medina. Yeah, that was a bop too, but not like Wild Thing. Wild Thing was the one. Tone Loc. Taking us back to 88, setting them straight, and ain't no half-stepping. That's all the stuff that you would hear back then. Anyway, thank you for clocking in to get your entertainment update here with Jill Monroe. You know, tonight we are going to get into some things because, as always, the weekend was packed, right? So tonight we're getting into the 2025 Academy Awards. There was a historic black win, or wins, depending upon how you look at it. There were some snubs. And, of course, we got to talk about the best dress moments because I love fashion, and Oscars fashion is always a key. We're going to get into Ashanti and some relationship tea. She had some thoughts about spinning the block. We know that she and her ex, Nelly, well, he's not her ex now. He's now her husband. But they were together for many years, broke up for about a decade, spun the block. Now they're married with child. They have a son. And so she talks about spinning the block. We're going to get into her comments. And we've been talking about a lot about black men's health. Black health especially, but black men in particular, over the past couple of weeks. And Damon Wayans is getting real about his health and aging and what changes he had to make in order to combat some things that were going on with him. So we're going to get into that. So that is a lot to get into. Let's run it down. But before we do, we have to say rest in peace to Angie Stone. She passed away over the weekend in an accident. I'm sure you've heard the update on the station, but some of her hits, you know, she had that song Black Brother, that came out in the early 2000s, I believe, that you see or have seen in every commercial dedicated to black men around certain times of the year and stuff like that. Powerful song. Did not know that she was the vocalist singing the opening to Girlfriends. So learned that. And of course, you know, her many, many hits. She's written on several things. She was part of the first female rap trio sequence. And, you know, we just send prayers and a lot of love out to her family and her fans at this time. Andy?
You know, a lot of people didn't know that, you know, Angie Stone and D'Angelo had a child or whatnot.
Yeah.
And, of course, you know, when, you know, stuff like this happens, you know, stories come out the woo-wah and everything like that. And I came across this post where it talked about how just Hollywood, how grimy Hollywood is, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess behind the scenes, it was known about D'Angelo and Angie Stone. They were known how they were an item. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
It was.
But I guess, you know, once D'Angelo became this sex symbol or whatnot, when it came down to like red carpets or whatnot, I read, and I don't know how true this was, but, you know, a lot of handlers was like, yo, D'Angelo, we don't want you on the red carpet with Angie Stone. Let's have you walk with a model or something like that. So it was just kind of grimy, like just even from a looks perspective. Like, I mean, you know, no matter how talented you are, you know, looks still matter.
That is especially, but, you know, it has always been that way in the industry. But I think as there's this song, it was the first song that was played, the first video that was played on MTV back in the day. It's by a group called the Buggles, and it's Video Killed the Radio Star. And what Video did also is blocked a lot of maybe talented people that didn't have the aesthetic that people are going for from moving ahead. There are people that are so talented that came out, like there's a singer named Vesta. She sang the song Congratulations. She talked about having to deal with that. Countess Vaughn had to deal with that when she was a singer. Yeah. And I mean, so there, it comes up quite a bit. I definitely believe that it came up with D'Angelo and Angie. By the time, because I worked with D'Angelo on his second album at Virgin, and by that time I believe that they were broken up. But we know that D'Angelo had a hard time with the attention that he received being considered a sex symbol. It was difficult for him. Wow. He didn't like it. That's kind of why he's a recluse now. And that is why he attributes it to why he ended up gaining weight, like sort of emotional eating. D'Angelo got, you know, kind of larger in years. And part of it was because of the stress that he saw as being objectified. So.
Wow. Yo, I didn't know that. So, like, hold on. So, I mean, he knew like he was gonna be naked in this video, right?
I mean, he didn't want to. That was, you know, an artistic. They pushed for that, and he was working out, and it paid off, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think he expected the reaction from it. Do you know? He was thinking of it more like, I'm an artist, because D'Angelo, pre-Angie, actually, if you listen to the rumors, you know, wore glasses. He wasn't what you would consider a smooth guy. You know what I'm saying? She kind of put him together, allegedly,
Angie
dusted him off. You know what I mean? Cleaned him up and made him ready for prime time. So the story goes.
Oh, Angie, salute, Angie.
So, you know, that's what happened. When we come forward, we're going to get more into these trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk about the Oscars and spinning the block, all of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
The following is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways. Airfare not included. See FVGradio.com for complete details. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get your complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. Proceeding is not sponsored by this station or its affiliates.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580, giving you your front row seat to the culture. Now listen, if at any point during this conversation you want to get yours off, call in 800-920-1580. You know, we are everywhere on social media, KBLA 1580. Me personally, I'm at Stiletto Jill. You can join us in the YouTube chat. It's always bustling and bubbling with conversation over there. Now that we have gotten all the business out of the way, let me give you a little bit more information about some things that have taken place. Serena Williams announced today that she is joining WNBA ownership. Serena is taking her legacy beyond the tennis courts. You know, she posted a video today with her on one court dribbling a tennis ball. And then we see it expand and we realize that she's really on a hoops court. And she is becoming part owner of the Toronto Tempo. That is the first Canadian WNBA team. They are making their debut in 2026. She is going to be working on the branding, the jerseys, the merch, all of that involved in that. We know Serena has a vast investment portfolio. She has her VC company, her venture capitalist company, which is Serena Ventures. It's a fund that invests in early stage companies, especially those that are founded by women and minorities. It's invested in companies like Parfait, Help, Boss Beauty, and Weil. She also has a minority stake in the Miami Dolphins. She also is a minority owner of the Angel City FC, which is a women's soccer franchise. Also involved in TGL, Los Angeles Golf Club. That's a virtual golf league that is headed by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And she has a bunch of companies within her portfolio, a multimedia company, Win by Serena Williams, which is a beauty line. So, I mean, listen, Serena's investments are stacking up, and obviously the WNBA women's basketball as a whole is where it's hot right now. So she is putting her money in there, and we will see what develops. We know that this season we'll be having up in the Bay Area the Golden State Valkyries, which are the Warriors' companion sister team. So look out for that. And in case you guys missed this, right? Drake and iHeartMedia have ended their legal opposition, questioning. Drake dropped his petition against iHeart over Not Like Us. And iHeart says that it is because they had docs proving that they did nothing wrong. No bots, no collaborations or cohesion behind the scenes, none of that. So they also made it clear that there was no settlement, no money exchanged, just a misunderstanding that was cleared up, right? So I think it's interesting. You know, Drake is kind of striking out with a lot of these accusations that he is making and related to this song. As the song continues to show its strength in pop culture, you know, we're going to talk about the Oscars in a second or two. And in the middle of the show, Conan O'Brien made a Not Like Us joke. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the beef that won't die. He said that this was the moment where it's the middle of the show, so he had to call Drake a pedophile. And he said not to worry. He was lawyered up. So even the fact that Drake is filing lawsuits behind it is a punchline as well. And yeah, the people have spoken. And once again, I still believe Drake can make a comeback. But even though Give Me a Hug and Nokia, those are bubbling off of some sexy songs for you, here we are just a little over 2 weeks later, and nobody is talking about it anymore. Andy?
I wonder if there's like a lack of respect for Drake.
At this point, absolutely.
I guess more so like, I was going to say character-wise, but I feel like, yeah, he's definitely like kind of showed himself. But I'm just thinking like, let's say if it was a 50 Cent in that position and he was over here, you know, filing lawsuits against Kendrick for this, that, and the third, would the rest of America be comfortable cracking jokes on a 50 Cent as opposed to Drake? Drake just seems to be like, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just, you know.
You're saying he's an easy target now?
100%.
Here's the thing, though. Drake was the king of culture for what, 10 plus years?
The king of culture?
Well, music culture. I feel like he said a lot of, I feel like he was involved in it. You think about it. You look at you think about the Instagram era, right? The rise of Twitter and social media. Who was the caption king? Whose songs did you see most frequently as lyrics or, you know, a caption for photos? I feel like it was Drake. I feel like people took, when Drake started the Heartbreak Drake again and he got the heart cut into his hair, how many guys did you see that were not out there with little designs in their head all of a sudden popping a heart in for their little part?
It must have been some youngsters because ain't nobody on my crew was over here getting them hearts.
It was out there. You know, I mean, Drake was the biggest fan. He was at all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there is a certain segment that is acting like Drake wasn't the guy that he was. The boy was the boy, right? But I also think he did some sucker stuff and he left himself open to it. Nobody cared when it was Meek Mill. People have been riding Meek Mill and talking about Meek Mill for years since that. And nobody cared. Nobody was like, man, maybe we should ease up on Meek. Meek gave everybody dreams and nightmares, which is like the get hype anthem, or it was for so many people, so many things. And nobody was like, y'all should lay off Meek. Maybe we going too hard on Meek. It's hip hop. And Drake did some un-hip hop stuff and he has to take it. I feel like that's just it. You know, it will pass. I mean, again, when Give Me a Hug dropped, everybody was playing it, dropping quotables from it. It's still, if you go on Instagram, one of the bubbling songs. So, I mean, you know. Morris Phillips says, ain't Drake Canadian? When I was a kid, we called it selling wolf tickets. It didn't mean nothing. Maybe. I mean, I get you. He's an easy target, but everybody is. It's social media. That's the game. Is the game. Is the game.
Nah, I mean, in the hip hop realm, I'm with you. But when you have white America taking their digs and they shots, that's what I mean. If it was 50, I don't think that joke would have been made on the Oscar stage.
No.
I could be all the way wrong.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I saw one of the writers tweet that they were thankful that the Academy trusted them and let the joke ride, and knowing that Conan was going to kill that moment. And it did. The audience reacted. It is a cultural phenomenon by the very definition of it. We are almost a year in from when this started.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
And that Super Bowl performance is a worldwide phenomenon because I'm still seeing people do their little skits.
Right, with the little with their little two-step. It is
Yeah,
amazing to
yeah.
me how many people don't have the rhythm for that two-step, though. That's kind of wrong, but that's aside. Summer says, Drake's not bothered. He's executive producing a bunch of shows and doing stuff behind the scenes. Not a fan, though, although I know one of his first producers. I do think he's bothered.
He's still
but he's still collecting his coins. Facts. But that Scorpio is getting up in him. That ego is burning.
Because I saw a recent clip of one of his performances out in Australia or whatnot, and the crowd was over here chanting F Kendrick, and you could just see him do the Hulk Hogan ear, let me hear you out, let me hear you. I'm listening. Yeah, Drake knows that.
Look, Forensic Accountant says, what happened to the good old days when rappers weren't afraid to die over a diss track? Lucas Frank says, white America being involved in this shows you this isn't black culture anymore. I disagree. Black culture leads culture. They try and act like it and dissect it, but the directions of what's hot, they take their ideas from us. Drake jokes were dropped at things with black hosts, so naturally, it's following suit. We saw Jimmy Kimmel break out in his Celine bell bottoms when he had Saquon Barkley and who was it on the show, and he was doing the little two-step through the hallway.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
It was Jalen, right. Okay, so come on. Forensic Accountant says the art has suffered as a result, but I understand. The art has suffered. I don't think the art has suffered because it is mainstream. I think the art has suffered because of the tools that we now have at our disposal and how we consume media and things of that nature.
And it's a hustle for folks.
And it's a hustle. And as much as we don't like gatekeeping sometimes gatekeeping helps. So I think that's just, a part of it. So let's get into these Academy Awards. Shout out to Zoe Saldana, right? She won for Best Supporting Actress, and she looked fantastic. Sparklies for the night. Paul Tazwell, we know, made history as the first black man to win Best Costume Design. He's one award away from an EGOT. He won for Wicked, and we know that's fantastic. Let's talk about Wicked getting shut out for the season, though. Golly. Except for the music thing. Nothing. I also feel Demi Moore, who's on Demi Moore, Halle Berry, Zoe Saldana, Coleman Domingo. Who else looked fantastic last night? There was a few others. If you saw some of the pics from the Vanity Fair party, I know that pasties have been a thing with outfits for a long time. Shout out to Lil' Kim for being the originator of that. However, y'all got to go find what Megan Thee Stallion had on. It was green. The color looked lovely. The dress looked lovely, but I didn't like the pasties application. I felt like it didn't need it. I think the dress could have rocked without that feature. And, just saddened me a little bit. But sparkly bodices, sparkles all around. The mirror sparkle thing, Demi and Halle both had that. Fantastic. Shout out to Adrian Brody for winning again. Go check the video of Halle Berry getting her revenge on Adrian Brody. I don't know if you remember back, I think it was 2001 or so when Halle won her Oscar and Adrian Brody planted the hugest kiss on her. Or was it for his win and she was presenting? I can't remember which way that went, but it was out of nowhere, surprising, a lot of people claim that Halle was sexually harassed in the moment, and it was a subject of conversation. Well, last night, Halle got her revenge. She walked up to Adrian while he was on the carpet and planted a huge kiss on him in front of his significant other. 21 years later to the day. And I felt that move. And again, she looked fantastic as always. The first male Black costumer to win summer, I believe Ruth, what is Ruth's last name? I'm blanking on her last name. She did Black Panther. She's done a lot of other things. She was the first one. Yes. So, costume design. Yeah. So that's it. Shout out to Maurice Geis in the chat. Vegas checking in. Angie Stone and Betty Wright. Rest in peace. Baby was my favorite jam. So listen, we're going to get into this Ashanti when we get on the other side. But I want to ask you guys first, what are your thoughts on spinning the block? Are you, when a relationship is done, it's done? Have you ever spent the block and had success the second time around? Do you what are your feelings about that? Oh, one more thing to mention, and thank you for Morris Phillips mentioning Whoopi Goldberg so I could relate this. Whoopi and Oprah on stage last night. We love to see it. The original Celie and Sophia. We had that moment with them. What is it, like 41 years later since The Color Purple came, so it was exciting seeing that. And Morris Phillips points out, because Whoopi had on a dress, she would never wear that dress in the hood. I thought Whoopi looked fantastic. And a woman can change it up whenever they feel like it. So when we come forward, we're going to get into Spin the Block. I'd love to hear your answers to whether or not you spin the block and what that experience is like. Hit me up with that. And, of course, more trending topics and headlines on the other side. You were locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News, traffic, and sports. Next.
Same old story back again. She's not a lover, she's just a friend. I'm sick and tired for you to blame on me. Now you think it's funny. Now you wanna spend your money on girls that you forgot when you were down, that I was around.
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Pope Francis has taken another turn. In an afternoon update, the Vatican said the Pope suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure. He is receiving ventilation. Francis has been in the hospital due to bronchitis and pneumonia. There are about 3 million African American Catholics in the U.S. Forecasters are predicting a large storm system will bring blizzard conditions and possible tornadoes to much of the U.S. this week. President Trump's tariffs on Mexico and Canada will officially go into effect Tuesday. Last week in a Truth Social post, President Trump said illegal drugs continue to pour across the border in what he called very high and unacceptable levels, despite pledges from both neighbors to boost security. Over 1.5 million black people live in Canada. On Sunday at the Oscars, Paul Tazewell became the first black man to win Best Costume Design. I'm Tyreek Wynn on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
In downtown LA on the 110 southbound before 3rd, an accident's been moved over to the right shoulder, but still stop and go from Stadium Way. In South LA on the 105 eastbound after the 110, a car and a motorcycle are blocking the carpool lane. Traffic stacked up from the 405. And in Culver City on the 405 southbound on-ramp from Jefferson, got a crash that is blocking the left lane of the on-ramp.
The CONCACAF Nations League Finals arrive at SoFi Stadium March 20th through the 23rd. USA versus Panama, followed by Canada versus Mexico. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster. For more information, visit CONCACAFNationsLeague.com/tickets.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers' winning streak is now at 6. Last night's 108-102 win over the Clippers at Crypto.com moved the Lakers into second place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City is on top in the West, 10 games ahead of the surging Lakers. The Lakers' 18-4 record is the best in the NBA NBA over the past 6 weeks. Luka Doncic led the Lakers last night with 29 points and 9 assists. Rookie forward Dalton Knecht dropped 19 off the bench. The Lakers are back in action Tuesday night against New Orleans. The Clippers are at Phoenix on Tuesday. R&B singer Angie Stone was on her way to perform at the KBLA Men's Basketball Championship game Saturday night in Baltimore. Stone died early Saturday morning in a car crash outside of Montgomery, Alabama. The KBLA is made up of HBCU schools. Virginia State defeated Bluefield State 71-64 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
There's new reaction following the Trump administration's sweeping efforts to cut the federal workforce.
Fired but not forgotten. The Testimony Project. Bearing witness, breaking silence, building community. KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to amplifying the voices of Black federal workers impacted by the mass firings. Rooted in the Black tradition of testimony, this initiative ensures that those who served us are not erased from history. Through firsthand accounts, investigative storytelling, and community-driven dialogue, we intend to expose injustice, preserve truth, and demand accountability. If you or someone you know has been forced out of federal employment due to the mass firings, please contact us at info@smileyaudiomedia.com or via the open mic feature on the KBLA 1580 app. We want to hear from you and share your story. KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but that's how a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Isaiah started vaping to try to deal with stress and quit because of his son. Learn how he and other Californians are rising above big tobacco at undo.org.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
See, my days are cold without you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can't take no more, I can't keep running back to you. See, my days are cold without you, I'm hurting while I'm with you. And though my heart can't take no more, I won't keep running back to you.
Here's another one. What?
Think I found my strength to finally get up and leave. No more broken heart for me. No more telling your lies to me. I'm looking like I got my head on right, so now I see thing is no more taking my love from me.
Welcome back in. You are locked in to KBLA Talk 1580. Joe Monroe for your entertainment news update for Monday. And on the line, we have JW from South Central LA. Good evening, JW. How's your Monday going?
It's going fair considering, but anyway, the point I would like to make is I feel we should be outraged because earlier today I heard DL Hughley say the same thing that you announced about the first black man that made the costume for Wicked. Just think about how many people should be making those costumes. That should be a norm for like half of the majority of black people making or higher percentage. So just one person after so many years. Now I heard someone else mention 100 years of the Oscars, but I don't think it's been that long, but maybe it has. But if it has, that's a shame that it's only one black person when it should be multiple black people and other nationalities too. We've been excluded out of everything. And all these other, they made a comment about, I didn't watch it for one thing. I was multitasking. I was too busy, so I missed it. But I caught it on the news. Now, Queen Latifah and Quincy Jones, yeah, they was just trying to exclude his accomplishments. Everything is exclusion when it comes to various other nationalities. That's why the Oscars is downgrading itself. They're trying to send a message out worldwide. Bottom line.
Well, thank you for your call, JW. We always appreciate your passion.
Yeah.
So the first Oscar ceremony was actually May 16th, 1929. Queen Latifah performed Ease on Down the Road in the Quincy Jones tribute, which is what Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg introduced last night. Quincy, I believe, has an Oscar or two for scoring. I think I have to double check that. We know that we have been excluded from lots of categories over the years, and the fact that it is 2025 and there's still the first black something should not be surprising to any of us because we see the lengths that are gone to suppress us. So all I can say is throw your support behind the things that you like. We're also going to touch on the something about that this week, as there was the National Day of the Economic Blackout that took place on Friday. So let's get into this Ashanti story, right? Ashanti, as we know, spun the block, right? And she and Nelly are married with a baby boy and looking happy. And we know that it took a minute for them to arrive back to this point. They were together in the 2000s, spent some time together, then broke up, and, now they have reunited. And Ashanti was recently on with Angie Martinez and talked about spinning the block and why she felt that it was, a good thing. Because generally when we talk about, people are either like, no way, no how, we are exes for a reason, never going back there. Or some people feel like, sometimes time away, it might have just been a moment in time. It didn't work, timing, circumstance, and they're trying it. Let's hear what Ashanti has to say about it.
Talk about circling the block. Like, is that a good thing? Some people say, I would never.
Yeah.
What have you learned about that? Like, re-entering a relationship that you had been in already. And clearly you both probably did things wrong. You weren't listening to each other, things like that. What have you learned?
What I've learned is to never say never. That's number one. And what's meant to be will be, regardless of how you feel, what you think, the timing, what's in the universe for you will be there regardless. You know what I mean? And I feel like we both kind of knew each other's heart, and I feel like we both got hurt, and we both were in our stances, and then I mean, not to sound fairy tale-ish, but I feel like God kind of just strings you with who you're supposed to be with at the time. You know what I mean? And when we did get back together, the craziest thing was it didn't feel like 7 years had gone by. Like we just snapped back into, 03, 04. Like it felt crazy.
That's love. That's love. And I know it's not for everybody, but I feel like sometimes it's okay to try. Like, if it wasn't anything like, crazy abusive or you're in pain, why not? If you're both available, why not? We have a call on the line, Eric from Carson. He wants to talk about the Oscars. What's going on, Eric? How are you this evening?
I'm good. Good to talk to you, and I want to say rest in peace, Angie Stone.
Yes.
Big fan. And I did a little bit of research. So the Oscars came about to unite the 5 branches of the film industry, being the actors, directors, producers, technicians, and writers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just wondering, we as Black people, we always want our credibility from white people. And so it seems like the Oscars are kind of geared towards white movies, white artists, and what have you. So why haven't we developed our own recognition? Why do we always want to be a part of it?
No, Eric. The NAACP Image Awards just happened. They have creative categories for costume design, direction, and whatever. I am a member of the African American Film Critics Association. We had our film honors and we have TV honors. We just had that 2 weeks ago where we honored some of the same films like Nickel Boys and things of that nature. We have our own voting body, but we do. That is what the BET Awards are. That is what the Soul Train Awards are. That is why all of these different things were created. The problem comes in is that I think we don't necessarily value our own awards at times as much as we do as some of the others. We have this conversation reoccurring as far as the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, or any of those other things where we have come up with associations or awards or things of that nature to be in support of our own. But we don't always give the same consideration or weight to those things. Andy?
Well, I have a...
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You got it.
Okay, I just wanted to say that your points, of course, are on point. But one thing I will acknowledge is that it's kind of like crossing over in the music industry. When you make it as a Black artist, of course, that's a huge success. But everybody is striving to cross over. So even though we have our own award shows, Black people, I feel, want to be recognized by the white audience.
I mean, some do, very much so. It is a continuing conversation. But, I mean, as long as we continue to show support of our own, as long as we show up for our award shows, give them the views, give them the same support and reverence that we do with the other things, then that's what it is. I have no problem with people wanting or desiring the acknowledgement or the accolades from other areas. That's natural. You work hard and you want it from everything. All I'm saying is give the same consideration to these other awards that are from us, for us, and by us. So we all know that it happens, and we can, debate whether what should be more important. We know why one holds a little more prestige, but in our homes, in our circles, we can elevate these other things. Nobody gets excited when someone talks about, oh, such and such, they got nominated for a BET award. We should see, you laughed, but we should have the same excitement and fervor for that as we do a Grammy.
Come on,
and
Jill.
then people would, hold it a little bit more respectfully.
That's right,
Can
Jill.
I make one last comment?
Of course.
I'll go out with this, because what you said, of course, again, is accurate. I think the reason that we look so highly upon the Oscars and the Grammys, one other reason could be because they've always existed. These other Black accolades haven't always been there, but ever since I can remember, there's been Oscars and Grammys. So I think we want to, strive to achieve these. I'm not sure what you would call them, but the ultimate award shows and acknowledgments. I think that is what makes them so significant.
This is true. Of course it is. But at the same time, there was a time when we didn't necessarily know what a diamond was as far as selling 10 million. We have to learn these things. And all I'm saying is, I'm not saying turn your back and act like an Oscar win doesn't matter or doesn't have a certain amount of validation to it, accolades, a standard, but be just as excited that, someone is a 2-time NAACP award winner. Do you know what I'm saying? Be excited that someone won a Stellar Gospel Award. We have to keep that same excitement up for the other things, because at this point, like you said, the Oscars, they had a starting point too. The Soul Train Awards and the MTV Music Awards started the same year, 1984. They started the same year, and it is just how we pay homage, how we revere these things, and the meaning behind it is up to us. That's what I
just thought
think.
of something.
Yes.
I said one more point, but
go ahead.
This will be the last point.
Make one more point. We got you.
Maybe the Soul Train Awards and the not the MTV, Soul Train and the NAACP Awards, maybe they should start recognizing others other than African Americans.
No.
I mean, here's the thing: they have nominated
Justin Timberlake,
or others. They have. I think Jack Harlow might have been nominated a couple of years ago. Eminem has most certainly performed at a BET Awards or something. John B. Do you know what I'm saying? But we don't like that. We don't like that. We feel like they got enough stuff.
Exactly.
We don't need to include them in this particular thing at this time unless they are exceptional.
Look, we talking about how they're robbing the culture, right? They're robbing the culture.
Right.
But yet we over here begging, knock on the door, man, acknowledge us. Nah, man, put the same value on the damn. I've been saying this for years. Put the same value on the BET Award. Put the same value on the Griot Award. Put the same value on the NAACP Award. Now is the time to gatekeep, because you guys keep on knocking on the door trying to be accepted. It's been too many times. The Oscars so white. How many years has that hashtag been popping?
Right. That happened, that was about 5 or 6 years ago when that started. I mean, again, they're always going to be there. Summer says prestige is probably the word. Yeah. Morris Phillips says whitewashing is very difficult to overcome. And Morris Phillips says Maxwell, I'm not attempting that last name, of Zimbabwe didn't need Silicon Valley's validation. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act as if, sometimes we don't look for outside validation and what that can do for us as well. Because sometimes it's not just about, I want to be looked upon in a certain reverence by this group. It is also that the financial opportunities and the business opportunities that may come along with those particular doors opening. So I am not saying do away with them or that I cannot understand why they respect them. I am just saying hold our stuff up.
Yes.
In the same way that these are. They all started from somewhere and they had to evolve to become esteemed or, desired. So we got to do that. We got to get just as hype and just as excited.
I guess we need
for all of those things.
I guess we need one of our leaders to really hype up. Like, I'm about to be at the BET Awards. I can't wait. Like, I really want to win this actress of the award. We need somebody like Issa Rae or Tyler Perry.
Fahima says in the chat, VP Harris recently talked about the importance of receiving recognition from her own people. Apparently, folks aren't listening for the acceptance speeches.
And then here's another thing: we are so critical of each other. I mean, the damn boycott. I saw so much people pushing back. Like, what is that really going to solve? Come on, folks. Come on. Can we get together and really do something, like be on one accord just for once?
Listen, I have some suggestions of things that you could do if you opted. Some people suggested every Friday you opt out at economics. Some have suggested make Fridays Black Business Fridays.
Come on.
So on Fridays you purchase from Black businesses. or, smaller local businesses, whatever your aim is, or you pledge a certain amount of your shopping dollars to Black and small businesses. Try that. When we come forward, we're going to get more into these trending topics. We're going to hear what Damon Wayans had to say about his health and more of your phone calls and comments in the YouTube chat. All that and more. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like
anxiety.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580 with your entertainment news update. We're going to take another call. Fahima from D.C. is on the line. Happy Monday, Fahima. How are you?
Hey, Jill. I know that we're on the tyranny of the clock, so I'll be brief. I just wanted to say, I've watched people like Dave Chappelle and recently V.P. Harris and other luminaries, and they talked about the importance and how much it meant to them to be recognized by their own community. And obviously some of the naysayers aren't even watching these Black awards, and that's why they don't understand how much it means to those people who receive it.
Amen. Talk about it. Thank you. I appreciate your time, Fahima, and your comments as always. So listen, we're going to put a pin in that. We'll circle back to it because always. I want to get into Damon Wayans really quickly because, like I said, we've been talking about Black men's health quite a bit. And Damon shared that he was suffering from diabetes a few years ago. He's 65 years old and he gets right. He looks amazing for his age. Amazing. Amazing. And, he got into what he had to do in order to get his health right. And, oh, by the way, there's some life advice in there that, you guys should take into accord. Listen.
And brother, whatever you're doing, the regimen you're taking, you look beautiful, brother. Because you just told me your age. You just told me your age. I always thought that we were the same age, but you're a lot older than I, but you're looking good, brother. So whatever you're doing, I don't know if you're juicing, if you're taking some facial creams or something, but you're looking good, brother.
No, it's yeah. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I got diagnosed with diabetes about 10 years ago, and so I started growing fresh vegetables. I only eat my vegetables. I work out, lifting heavier weights because that's what the scientists say really help you to to burn the sugar before you like burn the fat. And I've not neutralized. What do you call it when you? I've gotten control over my diabetes, and I got the Freestyle Libre, so I know what food I can't eat or I shouldn't eat, and I just don't eat them. So it's good living, and I'm not out there whoring.
That's the key right there. That'll knock you down a bit.
That'll make you old.
So, listen, fresh fruits and vegetables, exercise, use some heavier weights, and stay out them streets, man. But it is true, not everyone can grow their produce, but try organic. Make sure you incorporate fruits and vegetables into your diet. Really, it's not as hard as we make it out to be. You could get through it.
It's really not that hard. And there's an app. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it. We need some damn sponsorship, but because I love y'all, it's called Bobby Approved. You know what I'm saying? You scan the barcode of any food item, you know what I'm saying? And it will let you know if it's approved or not. Basically, if it's not approved, it'll give you the reasons why. Oh, it has maltodextrin and dextrose and red, yellow 40. You know what I'm saying? It'll give you the reasons why it's not approved. So use that. It'll indicate, what's good and what's not.
Okay, look at that. You got an extra little tip. We'll spin the block and bring that back up on another time. Listen, I want to thank you guys for locking in, as you always do, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. We're going to have a bunch of trending topics to discuss this week. Guest in all of that. Let's see, what do we have coming up this week? Raising Kanan is dropping on Friday, the new season. So we have some interviews coming from that. We're going to have some in-studio guests. We're going to get all up in the business on Thursday. So make sure you're locked in here so you can have your front row seat to the culture. Shout out Zoe Williams. He's up next, the voice of reason. Thank you, guys. I'll see you here tomorrow.
I'm just your average hood cat with dreams of getting rich. My crib big like a football field. You might mess around and think I signed a football deal.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Pope Francis has taken another turn. In an afternoon update, the Vatican said the Pope suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure. He is receiving ventilation. Francis has been in the hospital due to bronchitis and pneumonia. There are about 3 million African American Catholics